Hello, I'm making this video to answer some questions that I believe many people have. I post somewhat vague one line or two line messages, sometimes more or less, to multiple of my social media sites. Mostly daily, sometimes not, whenever I can, really. Sometimes they're just one word. And people have a lot of questions about them. They say they don't get it. Why are you doing this? What does it mean? And I guess I will try to answer that question as best I can. Now, I've been doing this for many years and I've tried to keep it mostly vague for a reason. I will explain in person if someone asks, but only if they ask. And I've been surprised about how many people don't ask. I'm also doing this to somewhat follow up on one of my more recent messages that I've been sharing for a long time. Live differently and love exponentially. I first started sharing this message from my sister following her passing 552 days ago. I posted a video the next morning that did sum up pretty much everything that needed to be said at the time. And since then, I've had a lot more thoughts, including during when I was speaking at her funeral. I felt like I didn't quite do it justice, although many may say I did. Also, there really weren't words at the time that I could sum up, but I tried my best and I will do so also today. Her message that she delivered through me, live differently and to love exponentially, was not really fulfilled or replicated to the fullest extent that it should have been. And I will try to show you all how to do that today. My sister lived very differently from most people, and that included doing things like giving away a lot of what she had. Also, doing things that most people wouldn't have done, like surviving having her chest cracked open 10 or more times. There were other things too that I could go on and on and on about. But the point of the Live Differently message wasn't to prove to you how differently she lived than most people, loving, caring, giving, and sometimes taking, but more to show you how to do it. And people may say, well, how can you do so just in two words? How do I learn like that? And some do it very easily, but others have a challenge of doing so, and I will try to help you learn how to do so today, hopefully. Now, live differently does not just mean the things that you do and act in certain moments, like if you see someone asking for change or begging, as some people call it. It's not just how you act in crucial moments, like during a funeral or when you believe you're being watched by people, but rather how you live your daily life when no one's around, no one's watching, and no one really cares except you. You have to. And for anyone listening who still doesn't get it, the differently part, it means you have to change. You have to change everything that you're doing in this moment. The pity that you have for yourself, the pity that you have for others, and hopefully the mistakes you're making. Because we all have vices. Everyone does. Me, my sister, and definitely you watching this. And I hope that I can deliver a message daily to you that will resonate so much that you not even change exponentially, but you love differently. And throughout all of my challenges that I've had, not only from when my sister passed, but before, I learned that if I handle it differently than I first react and want to, then normally I handle it correctly. Because our first inclination is not always the best one. And that can be quite perplexing sometimes. But in reality, what it's doing is it's challenging yourself to beat yourself. Because the war is not out here in the battlefields or against the politicians. The real war is right here. And until we realize that, we will continue to make the same exponential mistakes that we have repeated over and over and over again, these vices that we can't seem to kick. And I had many of them. One of the biggest ways that I tried to kick them was cold turkey. And it worked. Now, it may not work for everyone and in every case, but if you stop hesitating and just start doing, maybe it'll work. Maybe it will. Just maybe. When I deliver these messages online and on social media, I don't expect everyone to get them right away. But if you don't get them, you're looking at it wrong. You're looking at it either too literally or not literally enough. When I say something like will, I post the word will, W-I-L-L with a period. A lot of people are like, well, what the hell does that even mean? It means you have to have the will to do it, to survive, the will to keep fighting, the will to be there for your children, the will to show up for yourself some days. One day, I looked myself in the mirror and I had become someone I never even recognized. I was disgusted. I wanted to physically throw up, punch the mirror, in reality trying to hurt myself. And sometimes I tried to hurt myself, but it never worked. Not because I was scared of death or the pain, but because I knew that I was meant for more. I was supposed to be here for you and me. I needed to show up for myself daily so that I could show up for everyone else that needed me daily. And when I started to look in the mirror every day until I loved myself and I liked that guy in the mirror, instead of hiding from him, I used to hide from my own reflection sometimes because I hated it that much. I stopped having mirrors anywhere near me. And if I did, I only did it for my presentation to others. It was so extrinsic. Once I started to use it extrinsically, and you can call it narcissistic, I don't really give a shit what you call it. What I called it was therapy. It helped me. And I hope it helps you to look at these messages that I share every day. And I hope to break them down more to help share the message more so that there's not confusion, because that's not what I'm trying to portray. But I needed people to see that I'm willing to share what helped me instead of keeping it hidden all inside so that it was for me only. It's for everyone. What worked for me may not work for you, but you can at least give it a shot. Because I'm still here when I should have been dead 10 times over. My life should have been ruined by one person, the guy I'm looking at in the mirror. Thank you. See you again next time.